Hello everybody, it's True Detective here, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about how graphics cards have developed in these last 10 years. And I'm gonna translate this video to you that I also did in Finnish and tell you that this was my first gaming graphics card, 5770. And you can see over here the GPU mark score of that graphics card. Back in them days it was something like year 2009. I was playing World of Warcraft, Lich King on this graphics card, and it was okay, GTA 4, it wasn't really up to the snuff though. So at some point I decided that this GPU with only I think 2 gigabytes of VRAM or maybe even 1 gigabyte of VRAM is not enough, so I upgraded next into a 7870. And over here I show you the GPU score of that GPU. And in the later part of this video I start to compare these numbers to the current day GPUs. Have these progressed at all in the 10-year time? Because this GPU was about, well, it's more than 10 years ago actually. It's something like 13 years ago. But here was my last GPU until I migrated to Linux and started using Intel integrated graphics. And that GPU I bought because Witcher 3 came out, and this was a very good GPU. It ran every kind of game I put on it with 144 Hz monitor, that kind of stuff. The top of the line back then was 1080X, and here we start to get into a very interesting territory, because this GPU back in them days cost something like over 1,000 euros, I remember, and the GPU scored 15,000 with was it 8 gigs of VRAM. Where are we going right now? Well, here I show you some RADEON graphics cards from a Finnish store, and the prices are going to be all over the place in the United States, but you understand what is going on. With 4K monitors we get 4 times the resolution, so we need more VRAM. We need more VRAM, and we also are really seeing that GPUs have gone down in price for the same type of performance. You could see about 3 times cheaper. That's even better than the 1080 from 10 years ago. So there has been a lot of improvement. I don't know if AMD graphics cards still have Linux compatibility problems. Here I'm going to go into that next. And as you can see there on the left side, there's also Intel GPUs nowadays. And those Intel GPUs, I researched it on the search engine. These are Linux compatible. These have the driver in the kernel. And if I would build a Linux machine right now, I would pick the GPU from Intel, because Intel has been sponsoring and funneling the money into the Linux project so much that this would be probably the best choice. And even better if it's even manufactured by Intel. Here the manufacturer is Sparkle with Intel Arc GPU core in it. Here I show you the connections. Display ports nowadays are with every good monitor, so that's not a problem. And 4K monitors, they usually have both HDMI and also DisplayPort. Yeah, so that's that. Here we can see the GPU score of that GPU. It's the same as with the 1080, but you can see the power usage has gone down a lot, because this only needs one 8-pin power connector. That's amazing. That's amazing, like how much development in terms of how much you have to pay for the GPU actually you can get a great GPU nowadays for third the price of back in them days. That's progress, I guess. But at the same time, only with the highest end, you will start to see major improvements there. So 10 years time, has stuff progressed enough? I would say that, yeah, kind of, it has. But at the same time, I feel that, well, here's the Linux compatibility stuff. I don't know how it's with NVIDIA nowadays. You can try out Linux for free on your rig. Just figure it out. If it works, it works. But I would choose an Intel GPU now for a Linux rig because of that. Here I look into the highest end GeForce GPU. So this is NVIDIA. And NVIDIA GPUs with Linux, at least back in them days, you needed that binary proprietary driver. And GPUs cost 40,000 and 32 gigs of GPU RAM. That's pretty impressive stuff. That's probably for something like 8K usage. For regular desktop use, that €200 Intel graphics card is going to be just fine. And with Linux, you probably won't be able to do GPU video rendering either. So for a human being like me, the reason why I've been using just Intel graphics, Intel integrated graphics on Intel NUCs and Intel ThinkPads for the last 10 years is because I don't fucking play games. I don't give a shit about games. Games are just waste of time. And so much energy and, resources are being wasted to build this stuff. But this GPU I would endorse. Because if I can get my hands on one of these and I can demonstrate to you the real world usage of it in Linux, I would feel it's going to be a great choice. For that price, almost anybody can afford it. Yeah. Intel didn't manufacture GPUs back in the days, but now they do. And you would need PCI Express 4.0. I don't know if PCI Express 3.0. I think I had a motherboard with PCI Express 3.0. I don't know if that's upwards compatible, so to say. It's probably not, so you wouldn't be able to plug it in that computer, probably.